Alrighty. All right, welcome to this presentation. This fills my heart that we are here today sharing what generational emotional mapping is. So this is the training for GEM and just really the basis of how the GEM protocol works. We're going to talk about 3 different resources today. They are in there. But I do have the big book. Okay, so the book that you might order or you might already have on hand is a little bit smaller. I just have the presentation kind of volume and everything taken apart. Then I use this book a lot. It's called Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die by Carol Trueman. That is another resource that I use a lot. It does have a different protocol, like a processing script inside. Talks a lot about how things that happen in your life affect you throughout your entire lifetime. Okay. So like just different monumental events between conception and birth and 0 to 4, all the different times in your life, how they affect you in adulthood. And then the last one that I do use a different chakra book. I tend to test myself, which we will show you how to do here. And I tested for the people that would need the book that I had the most. And this is the one that came up, and it's Chakras for Beginners. It is by Michael Williams. I have the 4th edition. There might even be a new edition. So those are the 3 resources that I will use throughout our GEM process. If you come to me for GEM, or you'll see them in the resources page for this webinar today. So without further ado, I am Shannon Morrison. I am so excited to be here with you to share with you a gift that I was given more than 4 years ago that has been just absolutely powerful for myself in my healing journey, as well as my families and all of my clients. So I'm so excited. So this is a journey in finding hope. And that is just really, when it comes down to it, that is what we all need. If you've come through trauma, or you help people go through negative things in your life, just to getting out of their own way, even if it's self-sabotage or imposter syndrome or just emotional imbalance, you really can help people get and find hope. I do help women go from fear, self-sabotage, and not moving forward to feeling confident, hopeful, excited for what the future holds. That is the purpose of doing GEM and creating all the things that I do create in my courses. So what is GEM therapy? And I'm saying GEM because it's a mouthful to say generational emotional mapping every single time, but it's really a personalized information gathering protocol. It clears the roadblocks in your subconscious by assisting you to reach your full potential. And that is really what my programs and this process is going to show you. It creates a map, if you will, into your subconscious to find the root emotion that is holding you back, has been trapped in there, maybe even from what happened in your life, but most likely it's going to be coming from the generations above you, and it's their baggages that have been passed down to you, and the load just gets heavier and heavier for you. So we're going to show you in this process, in this protocol, how to relieve the baggages for yourself as well as your family members above you. So you might be asking, like, why did she choose this? Why did she get involved in this? And family is my inspiration, you guys. I was a single mom for 11 years. I just got remarried in June to an amazing human. He is super kind, just amazing to my 2 girls. He does have 2 boys, so we have a very blended family. I am a foster parent, so I did guardianship this beautiful young woman in the middle, Miss Kivana. Otherwise, so we have 5 beautiful, almost adult children. We're just really on our way to empty nester. It's just going to be another part of our life journey. But the reason that I was able to attract and to find this kind human to connect with me was because of my healing process. I really truly believe that what you put out, you receive. And until I was able to heal and get through that fear and that self-sabotage and that guilt and shame and all those negative feelings that I was holding on from my life circumstance, you guys, that was the only way I was going to be able to attract a person like my husband is. My life journey was in domestic violence. I was married to a man for 10 years. It was a very emotionally detrimental marriage, as well as physical. And that was my kids' journey as well. And so in finding my healing and moving forward, I just focused and dove into self-development. And I had a dear friend, Miss Iris, you're going to see her in here possibly. just really said that I needed to come to this class. It was in Lincoln. This amazing woman, Miss Joyce, was coming all the way from Alaska. You just really need to come, because I had said for years in my doTERRA journey, in my business and with my team, that pain and emotions are connected. I knew that the pain that I had, the physical pain, was connected to the emotions that I had in my life and what I was carrying. I just didn't know how to take care of it or get to the root of the problem. And as a single mom, I was like, I don't have the money to stay in a motel for a weekend. I don't want to do this workshop. I gotta, there's other things my money can go to. And it just kept coming in front of me. And so I went. And I was just so inspired by the process. I was relieved of the discomfort I had almost instantly during the processing that I did on my first gem. And here we are today, because I can teach it. I love this so much, and it inspires me to help more people at the same time, just really raise my vibration and heal a massive amount of people in even just one session. So family is my inspiration. We would not be where we are today have I not had this amazing protocol. I always have to start everything with gratitude. So believing in yourself and all that you are, know that you are something inside of you that is greater than any obstacle. We will always have obstacles. We will always have mountains to climb. There will always be a storm in your way, and it's how we get through that storm and how we see the world to get to the other side. There's always going to be an obstacle, and this protocol, in the courses, in the inspiration that is all connected with the products that I have, you can get through any obstacle if you just believe in the power of possibility. So in the last 2 to 4 years, this has really been a staggering statistic. Okay, so depression and anxiety have risen from 8% to more than 30%. These are, I just blocked them together. It is very, very saddening to me. And I know that the life situation always changes. There's always something going on in life. There's always something going on in our personal lives too. But the world as we know it has really increased the fear, the anxiousness, and it increased the fact that we're all kind of stuck in our homes. And so my journey of domestic violence really has stirred up a lot of emotions in the homes of a lot of people that I'm connected to, and a lot of groups of women and men, both alike, right? We're stuck in our house a little bit more. Loss of jobs, loss of financial stability has increased cortisol, increased fear, increased emotions, and depression, anxiety, domestic violence, all these things have really increased in the last 2 to 4 years. I just wanted to bring this up here because it's really something we can help ourselves every single day using the tools that we're going to talk about here. So what do you do when life gets chaotic? This is what we're going to talk about too. What is your representation? What is your tools in your toolbox? We will always have chaos. We might be a mom. We might be a single mom. We might have a job. We might have a side hustle. There's different family elements in everybody's life. So this is maybe what your brain looks like when you're trying to go to sleep. And maybe it's keeping you up at night, right? All these things are constantly a battle, and it's really getting to the root of the issue, clearing the brain fog that's going to help us be our best selves. So this is what GEM does. Okay. So do you want a Band-Aid to mask the problem? That is really what Western medicine does. And in this process, we're going to get to the root of the issue. We're going to release it, which is going to fix the problem. Okay. We're not going to mask anything here. You're going to actually feel a relief right away. So do you know who is driving your car? And this is a big question. 90% of whatever we do in a day is already written. 90% of what we think about, what we talk about, where we go is already written in our subconscious. About 1 period in a term paper is about all we do consciously in our day. We as women have about 8,000 thoughts a day. Okay. 80% of those thoughts are repeating. They're on like a hamster wheel. They're just repeating. And 90% of them are negative. Okay. So there is a huge power in the words we say out loud or to ourselves in our head that is also driving our car. So this is a question. Do you sometimes feel fear? Do you feel anger, anxiety, sadness, guilt, unworthy? I know this was me 10 years ago. I had so much shame about staying where I was, so much guilt about not finishing school and being able to be financially secure in the situation that I created. Fear of what could possibly happen or not happen for me, right? Anger with the world around me. And sometimes even when you're in a domestic violence situation, and not everybody is, but most people have had trauma, or somebody in a domestic violence situation. In the last 2 years, everybody has dealt with some sort of trauma, right? So some of it is the frustration and anger with family because they are the family members with yourselves. So there could be anger on both sides or frustration on both sides when you're connected to people that are trying to help you and you don't listen, or you're like, not right now, I can't do that, I'm not ready, right? Women have to be confident that they can be okay. And that's really hard to do when you don't love yourself. So the symptoms of being expressed today are history. So how we react to things, how we speak sometimes even, is really the person driving the car or the baggage that we are carrying from somebody else. And when they actually started driving the car. So maybe they started driving the car at 7, maybe there's a traumatic event at age 7, and your brain is a self-protection mechanism, right? The firefighters come out and they really try to protect us. That's what our brain does. Fight or flight all the time. If something happens, if we're almost in a car accident, right? Your palms get sweaty, your heart races, your body's like, oh my gosh, we have to get out of here. Your fight and flight raises. And so a lot of situations in trauma are expressed from those things that happen through our life. That was just like one instance. Car accident is like, you guys can picture that in your brain, right? Your brain thinks that that's happening whenever your heart races, whenever your cortisol level raises. A tiger is chasing you, or you're about to get in a car accident, right? And it could be a little thing. The often your cortisol level raises, the more often you're in this trauma events, the shorter time span of that reaction in your body. Okay. I really believe that your family medical history should be your family emotional history. I feel like the emotional history is more important than actually the medical health issues. Whether your family had cancer or diabetes or all these other things does affect you, right? But I feel like if your family had an emotional issue, or if they had trauma, or if they're a person that went to war, like other things are factors on the person you are and how your body can react and defend itself. If your emotions are connected and your emotions are at a level keel, then your body can fight just about anything on its own. Your body is an amazing vessel and it will heal itself on its own if we can control cortisol and blood sugar levels and heart rate and all those things. Our body works just amazingly. Okay. So I really feel like if you know your birth story, if you know your conception story, if you know these things that happened above you, it's going to help you heal yourself, help you move forward, help you get through these things. So story time. What I really want to talk about, two things actually, but this is my eldest daughter, Naya. She is now almost 21. She's 20 years old. And she has feelings of anxiousness. She also has feelings of claustrophobia, right? She does not like to be in tight spaces. It makes her get very anxious, even like in a large group of people where there's not as much space. Okay. Just raises her adrenaline, raises her cortisol, and she just like, get me out of here. I'm about ready to fight or flight. Right. So your brain tries to forget stuff, right? But your body remembers. Okay. Just like the body keeps the score, the book, The Body Keeps the Score. It's absolutely true. We try to shove things down and we shove things in our throat, right? In our throat chakra. If you guys know chakras, we try to get through things as fast as we can. We don't really feel the feelings and we stuff them and we're like, we're moving on and we're going to be fine, right? We're going to be fine, which is really not a thing. But over time, those things that we shove down or we try to forget do come up. And sometimes at not the most opportune times. Okay. So my daughter and I had a conversation a long time ago. She's so similar to me. She's a mini me. I don't know if you can tell, but she is a mini me. And she absorbs other people's energies the same as I do. And so she feels other people's things, right? If she goes to Walmart, she feels the animosity and the chaos in there, right? So we had a conversation when she was not doing very well. We did gem, and she just like, I don't understand why I feel this way. I don't know how to explain the fact that you don't understand that I feel like I don't have choices. The reason why I'm so anxious is because I feel like I cannot make a decision and I'm just being swallowed up. Well, I knew her birth story and she didn't know her birth story. And I said, I completely understand because I do gem and I learned this and I read the book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And I read things for emotion code, and the body keeps a score, right? And so I knew that her birth story had a huge effect on who she is right now as almost an adult, right? She was an emergency C-section. In about 2 minutes, her heart rate dropped, her oxygen level dropped. In about 2 minutes, she was born. Okay. We were doped up. I was doped up. We say we were doped up. And she was born and she was on a heart monitor and she was in an incubator, a tiny, tiny incubator with all these cords, all this heart monitors, beeping, loud noise, loud things going on, people everywhere, right? So her birth story was not natural. It was not calm. It was chaos. And she was covered with people because she wasn't breathing when she was born. She was blue. They had to intubate her, they had to suction her, they had to do all these things. And then she was in a little tiny bubble for 48 hours. Okay. She had no idea, right? I knew her birth story because I remember like it was yesterday, right? That was a traumatic event for myself as well. And so, but this comes up with her, right? She came up in conversation. Another thing, not so long ago, we never discussed the situation that happened why I got divorced until my kids were like, somebody told Anaya when she was a freshman in high school. And so the conversation came up then, but I never shared why I got divorced. I just said that, my kids were little. Guys, it's been 11 years. So she was like 9, right? 8 or 9. And I just said we didn't get along. We no longer we're no longer going to live together. We didn't get along. And so that was what we're going to do. And so they were driving in a car and she was with my other child and they were on the phone. It was on speakerphone. She was driving her car. She drives a little Jeep, which I'm surprised, but she drives a little Jeep and she was driving down the road and this gentleman that was connected to my other daughter called and he was yelling and screaming just absolutely horrific things at her because he was not in a good place, right? It wasn't a good relationship. Anyway, this entire flood of emotions came over her and she was just like, she could not stop the car. She couldn't not tell her to shut the phone off fast enough. She couldn't get home fast enough. And she couldn't talk to me fast enough because she had no idea what these feelings were. Right? She did not remember all of this stuff, but she's like, I went to being like 5 years old and I was terrified, but she had no idea before that why she and I and her dad got divorced because she pushed it away, right? She shoved that emotion away, but your body doesn't forget. And that is why I want to share GEM, because it doesn't matter if it was 18 years ago. It doesn't matter if it was 5 years ago. The trauma is still in your emotion code. And my job and my wish and my mission is to help you release those negative emotions attached to that picture, right? The picture is still going to be there. The trauma is still going to be there. We need to release the emotions so you can live your purposeful life. So you can live full out loud the way that God intended you to do. And that is my wish for her, obviously, but those are just 2 instances that are really close to me. Because that's why I do GEM, right? All the time is to help myself, but also help my kids and everybody above me in my family. So what are emotions? Emotions are information carrying molecules that bind to and react with the cell receptors. They go into the cell, impacting function and behavior. So let's talk about a little bit about the 3 brains. 3 brains are your heart, your gut, and of course your brain. Okay. The 3 of them talk really well together. The mind, the heart, and the gut. The three brains communicate with the other, and they feed back to and therefore influence the mind. Okay, this is by Dr. Carolyn Leaf. She's a neuroscientist. The mind is where your logic and intellect comes from. I said earlier, the subconscious mind directs over 90% of your behavior, how you react, what you do, how you speak, where you go, what your job is. You guys really, our subconscious is control of a lot. We do need it, right? We don't want to think about having to breathe. We don't want to think about, we're driving on the side of the road. We're driving down the road, going to work. We're like, crap, did I drive by? We're already thinking about what's going on for supper. Our brain keeps us on the road, right? Our subconscious keeps us on a road. We do want to be fully conscious in so many different capacities. The gut is gut feeling, your intuition. This is where 90 to 90% of your serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter, right? Excuse me, a neurotransmitter. A lot of people think it's a hormone, but it really drives all of your mood. It drives your happy chemicals through your entire body. And most of it is created in your intestines. It's created in your gut. So we are going to talk about feeding your gut with good food and good things and nutrition in this. It's all part of GEM, all part of the process that I encourage, because your gut is like your mom, you guys. Your gut drives everything, and it's where your happy chemicals are. And so if you're really having, if you're suffering from overwhelming sadness, if you're suffering from a lot of brain fog, if you're suffering and you haven't been able to gain the energy or stamina to get through the hard things, look at what you're eating and what you're putting into your gut, okay? Then you have the heart. This is where your intuition is. There's more neural pathways that run from the heart to the brain than the other way. And not until I went to this and learned more about this and all the neurosciences and the three brains did I really realize that there is so much that comes from the heart. It's just really unique. For our body is amazing. I'm so impressed with all of the neuroscience. So pouring goodness into your body, your mind, and your spirit is foundational for protecting your energy. And it is a key component in GEM and what you can do for yourself with emotions. So we're just going to kind of briefly talk about this. This is the health pyramid. It is really, really important for you guys to get enough sleep. Your body resets, your mood resets, everything happens for you when you sleep and when you're in REM sleep or REM sleep, right? The rapid eye movement, you really need to get into that type of sleep for your body and your emotions to calm down and for you to dream and relax and just reset. The next step on the healthy pyramid is the nutrition that you eat, eating whole foods at least one time a day. Okay. I know it's hard. We're in a high-paced society. There's a ton of drive-ins. There's a ton of things we have to do. We have to go from work to taking the kids to somewhere else. I understand that life. If you just even skip the drive-throughs, okay, eat one healthy meal a day, or just add good fats or good natural organic fruits and vegetables throughout your day, that will be very, very good. The next thing is movement. I know we have a plank here. I'm not saying you have to do yoga or you have to do a plank, but if you are sitting at a desk, we're normally sitting at a desk more often now. If you can get up every 45 minutes and walk around, do some sort of stairs or some sort of dancing to your favorite song, get out in nature, do something for 5 to 10 minutes every single hour, your brain and your productivity will actually increase. Okay. And then the next one is supplements. This is really where we're going to talk about supplemental facts from doing a protein, fiber, some greens, other things to supplement your food, because the food, even if it's organic, doesn't always have the nutritional value that we think it does. Our food today is not as nutritious as it was 50 years ago. So you're going to need supplements. doTERRA, the products that I've used for 10 years, I absolutely love their nutrition and their vitamins that they have. The LLV, short for lifelong vitality, is a triad system that really, really puts great things into your body, increases your energy, your stamina, brain support, all organ support, has all your vitamins and the natural oils from the earth, all in those 3 supplements that are powerful. These bottom 4 will keep you from that top medical grid, okay? That is what our goal here is with all of the products that I put out, including this GEM protocol. It's really trying to keep the bottom 4 going so that you don't have to do proactive medical care, okay? Just for, you can take a snapshot of this. I'm sure you know all about this, but memory and brain food, these are really antioxidant enriched foods that are perfect to help your brain heal, help your brain with cognitive function, help your brain calm down, and just give you some good suggestions and good ideas to keep for healthy snacks that are on the go or to add to your meals at home. And some of these actually come in our supplements as well as our essential oils or products. This is my favorite thing to do when I need to reset. This is all about emotions, right? We really need to reset and reframe throughout our day so that we can be cognizant of our mouth and what we put out to other people as well. I talked about how I absorb other people's energies, and you want to be in a good frame of mind so that you're not putting out negative energy, right? Whatever you put out, you bring about. It is a law of attraction. I love trees, but if you can get outside, hug a tree. You think that's woo-woo, it's okay. You guys, you can hug a tree. They have amazing energy, but just get out in nature however you can throughout your day. When it's nice, obviously, I'm not saying go out in a blizzard. Shannon told me to do that. But get out whenever you possibly can, get some fresh air. It's going to rejuvenate you, give you more energy, give you a different frame of mind. These are 2 other ways to tap into reframing. We will do tapping. There is a breath technique you're going to see in the next slide to get us tapped in or to teach you how to tap into what you need. We do a tapping and breathing exercise when we first start the GEM protocol. It allows me to get tapped into you so that I can test for you. And it also teaches you how to test for the things that you need. Oh, hold on. I forgot to share. Sorry, I need to share with sound. I am Shannon Morrison, and I'm here with the beautiful Amanda White, and we are going to show you how to get tapped in, how to muscle test when I say kinesiology, when we get tapped in to do a GEM session. So really quick, we're going to show you how this works. And Amanda and I already used our peppermint oil to get focused and tuned in just by doing that. That is our favorite oil to get focused. And so we're going to just briefly show you how we're going to muscle test and then how I and she get tapped in together. Okay, so Amanda, are you ready?
I am ready.
Yay, awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do, and you can have your eyes open or your eyes closed, however you want to do. And we're gonna tap above our eyes, below our eyes, our chin, our thymus or our clavicle, and then we're last but not least, we're gonna do this, okay? With 2 acai breaths, where you breathe in your nose, and then you put the tongue to the roof of your mouth, and you just sigh it out, okay? So we're gonna bring in like this best sunny day from Arizona into our soul, and we're gonna let go of any tension, any negativity in our body when we sigh and let that breath out, okay? All right, so let's get started. We're gonna take a deep breath in, 2 breaths each station. 2 breaths in. So 1 breath in, we're going to tap lightly on or above our eyes. Deep breath in. And then release it. Good job. 1 more breath. Deep breath in. Let that tension go. 2 breaths underneath your eyes. We're going to tap gently underneath our eyes. Deep breath in, pouring in that light. And release. 1 more there. Okay, now for our chin. 2 breaths here. Awesome job. One more. You might even feel your body going back and forth already, getting tapped in. So 2 breaths. We're going to put our tap on our clavicle now, or our thymus chakra. And release. One more deep breath in. Give it a little more love. We're going to do one more. All right, and the last stage is we're going to tap our pinkies together, kind of like fanning in front of our face. This is going to get our lymphatic system going. We're just going to take 2 deep breaths in, one at a time, of course. And then let it go. Relax your shoulders. Awesome job. And then we're going to just shake it off. We're going to shake whatever we have left in our hands, just shake off our body. Just shake it off however you see fit. Do a little dance, a little jig, and just shake it off. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to see, that was our tapping in, right? We tapped in. Do you feel relaxed?
I do, and I am tapped in. I know exactly what's happening inside of me right now.
Good deal. Good deal. Like I felt us like we were connecting. So I know because I was rocking back and forth. So if you could see that, I was already rocking back and forth, right? Okay, so Amanda, it's just gonna be kind of weird. And this is the form of kinesiology that I use when I do a gem session. And I normally ask you a question and I test for you normally, but I want to teach you how to test for yourself. This is really useful when you're in doing, what essential oil do I need to use? If I'm in a crystal store, is this crystal going to help me in my energy of my goals or my aspirations right now? That kind of thing. So this is really going to help you in holistic wellness, opportunities to like just serve you and protecting your energy. So this is a great tool. So I'm going to out loud have you say, like, with authority, we know it's wrong, but it's okay. With authority, my name is Michelle. Be like, my name is Michelle.
Okay. My name is Michelle. Whoa. Not going to fight
Heels
it
or
that time.
toes? Heels or toes, Amanda? We all saw you move, but where did you feel the pressure?
Heels.
Heels. Okay, so now with authority, like you're in mountain pose, say, my name is Amanda.
My name is Amanda. Whoop.
Okay, so your yes is forward and your no is backwards. It was very evident. If you guys are watching this replay and this demo, it was very evident that she went backwards and very evident that she said yes or affirmed and came forward with yes, and she said no to backwards. So you can use this, Amanda, for any holistic practice that you're going to do. And you have a lot of tools in your toolbox. So maybe you're like, do I need Reiki right now? Do I need an essential oil right now? Do I need to use my Palo Santo wood? Do I just need to sit in child's pose? Do I need to be in nature? You can do all these things. Is breathing going to help me? Do I need to tap this out right now, right? Your body and your subconscious will know what you need. It's already been written. 90% of what we do every single day is already written, and your body and your mind already knows. So you just ask it and it'll tell you. Thank you so much for doing this. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me personally and I will help you get tapped in doing your next gem. Thank you so much. All right, so that was amazing. So that shows you how to get tapped in, how we start every gem session, just really getting centered, tapped in, and how we can get connected and I can test for you, even via virtual or via Zoom. That's how I do that. So you as a person normally instinctively process life's experience by these 2 things. You're going to process your mind, heart, and gut are going to do this processing, right? Your mind's going to say, I have to figure this out. Your heart's going to be like, oh my gosh, I feel overwhelmed. And your gut's going to be like, oh, I feel stuck, right? The reaction or the feeling to these things or this event is going to be, your mind's going to be like, oh, the feeling is going to be, oh, I have head tension or I have a headache, right? Your heart is going to be like fluttering and you're going to have conflicted feelings and your gut is not going to feel good. You're going to have unsettled stomach and instantly you're going to be like, I'm not good enough because I just backed up. I just woosawed. I just got stuck. I'm not moving forward because my body doesn't know what to do next, right? It instantly goes to not good enough. So healing from trauma, and this is a book that I also brought up a couple of times, right? Nobody can treat a war, a rape, an abuse victim, or any other horrible trauma. They cannot treat this effect. They cannot make undone what has been done, right? What's been done cannot be undone. What can be dealt with is the imprints on the body, mind, and soul. And that was what GEM can do for us. It's really taking away that emotional imprint on our soul that's going to help us. Okay. So these are the key belief statements. We're getting into the protocol right now, and we're going to go through these pretty quickly. It's just really the protocol that's in the book. You may already have the book in hand, and if you don't, it's okay. There is actually 10 belief statements, but that we work on in the book. But these are key belief statements that you should say or should have the following, right? You should be able to say, I like myself, I love myself, I forgive myself for all the imperfect acts, all of the other people's imperfect acts. These are the things you should be able to say in real time. And if you can't, then something is holding you back, right? There's an event that's holding you back from saying my best is good enough. If you're saying backwards to that, you're not affirming that, then there's something to work on. We already always have something to work on, but this is the 7 key belief statements that you could just test on to see what is starting the process, where to start in this process. So the question really is, would you like to feel happier, more connected, empowered, feel hopeful, right? I believe you do because you are here right now doing this workshop with me. So now we're going to go through the GEM protocol, right? We're going to go through 11, I think it's actually 13 steps, but really the first part of it is just the one time. And then 4 through 8, we repeatedly do until you clear your issue. So it's really finding out the issue at hand. And then when you test for the issue you need to work on, we figure out what the desired outcome is, because we're going to pour that desired outcome in every single time we want to release the negative emotion. Okay. And then we're going to see how far it goes back in your generation. Sometimes it goes back 5, sometimes it's just 1 generation, sometimes it's over 100 generations. Okay. The next is the phase. There are 6 phases in this book. The next is the phases of life, and it's however you believe. Okay. There are 6 phases in this protocol. The next is who it came from. Is always going to be a person that started it and a driver that makes it keep going. So who in your family? A universal family is really anybody you can see at a zoo, right? Or a wedding. A tribe person is somebody you're going to invite to a wedding or a birthday party. That is maybe somebody that's not related to you, but is connected to you, right? The next is family. And the 4th is individual. These are going to be people that are really, really close to you and you can be involved. Because as we age and as we become parents and as we do things, we do tend to teach what has been taught to us, right? So sometimes we are involved in the programming that we also need to release. The next is there's a factor, right? There's 5 different factors that could be factors making this keep going. There's always going to be a lie, okay? So basically it's a lie that is connected to somebody that has gone through generation and generation. And I'm in a farming community. So I have a story of maybe you have 2 ranchers that are side by side, and this one rancher's bulls constantly break the fence and this other rancher, and they constantly get in there and they get in with the cows. And then all of a sudden we have different colored calves in the spring, right? It's a constant battle. And these 2 ranchers don't like each other. Okay. Let's move down the road 75 years, right? The people that are alive running those 2 ranches weren't alive now, right? But that animosity is still going to be there between those 2 generations or those 2 ranchers because of the generational lie or the factors that are driving it throughout. These kids that are now driving that ranch or running that ranch will have this error of thought, will have these negative emotions, will have these negative words spoken and felt about their neighbor, right? Forever until that is released or taken care of. The next ones are just next is we find the essential oil. Like I said, I use doTERRA essential oils, and that is the oils that is in this protocol in this book. So we find the root oil, the emotion connected to that oil. There's normally 4 to 8 emotions connected to every single oil that doTERRA has. And there is an affirmation, a positive affirmation for each oil. Okay. That is basically one step, but it's broken down here. Then you find the chakra or the organ site to use. I use 10 chakras. There is normally 7 that people know of. I think there's like 114 chakras altogether. I used personally 10 from the book that is going to be in the resource guide. You're going to utilize that oil. You're going to smell it. You're going to put it on the chakra point. I'm going to read the script, or you're going to read the script, and then we're going to calibrate after a few sessions and see how far we've come in clearing that root issue for you. Okay. So again, gem therapy is a personalized information gathering protocol. It clears the emotional roadblocks that are stuck in your subconscious based upon what's happened to you and based upon what happens to others above you that didn't clear it. The amazing thing with gem, and the reason that I just have found it to be a gift for myself, my family, and my clients that I serve, is when you come in or you do a gem or I do a gem, all of the things and all of the emotions that I clear them for myself. I clear them for my kids so they will not teach it and they will not share that in their DNA when they have children. And I clear it for all the generations above me, okay, at the same session. That vibration and that energy change warms my soul, because you could never do that in talk therapy, right? You could never go into a therapy office and clear all of this baggage and the generational cycles of domestic violence, or the generational cycles of these different trauma events, or anything else that you're going to go into therapy for, right? You're going to clear it. You're going to work it out over time, like EMDR, right? It's not even a one-time basis to get through that deep-rooted trauma. This is going to clear it in real time every single time you do a gem session, okay? For all of the people. Last week, just for instance, I know you guys might be watching the replay, but right now, last week I did a gem session. I did it for 150 plus generations, and I tested how many people it affected, and it was 179,000 people in my gem session. Okay, that warms my soul. I got goosebumps. My heart is fluttering. Like, it was so freaking awesome to know that I helped that many people at one time. Okay, so that is why I'm here. That is why I'm teaching gem. That is why I would do gem every single day of my dang life, because of the amount of people that we can help at one time. When you change the perception, you can change the pathology. This is profound, you guys, right? If you have hope, if you can give hope to somebody who has dealt with trauma for such a long time, where it's debilitating, it's caused disease, it's caused pain, they just don't have another option, and you have them and they come to you and they're like, holy cow, right? I just did a gem session on a 19-year-old girl last night, and I was just like, she was just like, wow. She's like, for the first time in a long time, I feel peaceful. She's 19 years old. I was like, right? It's amazing. So the last thing that we do is we test and see if you need a custom blend. Again, we use doTERRA essential oils for this, because that's what we use in the protocol. They are the purest, most tested, great essential oils found right now. We are the #1 essential oil company. But we test for what you need. There's always going to be 4 separate oils. The protocol is in the book, Generational Emotional Mapping. And we test for that. And then I create that for you here when you come in my office, or if you're doing this for yourself, you would just create this blend at home, and you continue using this. And you're going to want to use a very small roller, or just a partial bottle of a roller, because you want to use the whole thing to continue your process. You're basically going to test yourself. Do I need a custom blend to continue? If you affirm and say yes, then you make the blend yourself, use it throughout your day until that bottle's gone, so that all of those emotions you can completely release in real time. There's a lot of different options for all ages, you guys. I have done gem on littles, with their mom side by side for different reasons, and all the way to gem is really for anybody. It does not have to be like, it doesn't have to be a adult person that you look in. So we do have a lot of different oils. I test, and as well as so many other people do test for these kid rollers that come in a set. These are amazing. They're already blended and diluted perfectly to help your kiddos, but they do come up in gem a lot. So I put them in here. They're great to naturally protect your kiddos' energy, to boost their immunity, to calm their brain, especially if their life or where they live or how they live at their foster care, however the environment is, right? You can really calm their adrenaline, which is going to calm their central nervous system, which will also lower their blood sugar and lower the amount of disease that they would have, right? As a foster parent, I know that kiddos just get uprooted and more often and more often. And they come to us with diabetes, with being overweight, with having thyroid issues, and depression, because the cortisol level is up and their pancreas can't take control of it, right? Your pancreas is overworked and it's just, the stimulation is too much. So these are really good products that can help support any age child. These are different support. I talked about supplements, right? These are really great for child to adolescents to support their system in that gut, right? That part of that brain. I love this set for adults. If you are a caregiver, if you are new to essential oils or the supplements that we have, these 4 products are really good pairing to help you with anxiousness, feeling sad, or feeling overwhelmed. I call it the self-care collection. Adaptive was actually formulated for mental health, non-addictive, central nervous system support. It calms the GABA, okay? And that's really what you want to do here. Copaiba, the oil of Copaiba is amazing. It profoundly, positively affects every organ of your system. It also calms your central nervous system without the CB2 inhibiting, okay? And then we talked about sleep being absolutely profound in mental health and in keeping your body up to the stamina that you want. And Serenity is really super supportive of your sleep. So now, do you guys have any questions at all? I would love to answer